yourself? What are you doing for yourself these days?
So I'm doing music. I am working with the Fairfield County Chorale.
Where and when were you born?
I was born in 1967 in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I spent part of my childhood in Israel.
Tell me about your childhood in Argentina and how your family influenced your love of music.
There was a lot of music in the house, but neither of my parents are musicians. But both my grandparents love music.
What made you decide on music?
I think I always in my heart knew I was going to be a musician. I kind of felt it that it was something I could do. And then I just kept doing it.
Hi everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Person or Person. Our guest today is someone who has a brilliant mind for music. He is a conductor, a coach, and a teacher of symphonies. And the Fairfield County Choral sings under his baton. Now, I would like you to meet our guest today, Maestro David Rosenmeyer.
Hi Chris, pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming. Alright, so David, when and how exactly did you start conducting the Fairfield County Chorale?
All right, so at 2011, I think, or 2011, there was an opportunity. The position of music director at the Fairfield County Chorale was open, and so they decided to do a series of interviews that were conducive to do auditions. So somebody recommended me, and I applied. I was lucky that I was chosen to do one of the auditions, and the audition was a concert. So that was in March 2012, and by that summer, May, June 2012, I was elected as the music director, and so I'm working with them since then.
Oh wow.
Yep.
So can you give me an estimate of how many altos, tenors, sopranos, basses, baritones there are?
Well, our chorus is in a moment of expansion, which is a good thing. So I think our current number stands somewhere between 110 and 115 members.
Wow.
Typically, like in many of these kind of choruses, there is more sopranos and altos. So I don't remember exactly the numbers, but they are like maybe 35 sopranos, 30 altos, about 15 tenors, and 20 basses, something like that. And if you do the math, it's going to be different from what I just said, but it's not so important, the exact number at this point.
All right, so where exactly do you and the chorale rehearse, and how long do you guys practice?
We rehearse in Norwalk City Hall, not far away from here. And Norwalk City Hall has several places to make music. Mainly the stage, the concert hall, which is just fantastic. It's one of the most beautiful in Connecticut. Excellent acoustics, and we rehearse in a room there that has a good piano, and it's actually built for this kind of group, either a band or an orchestra or a chorus, and it's very, very convenient, comfortable, easy parking. And we rehearse typically once a week for about 2.5 hours or 3 hours. Then when we get closer to the concerts, we have more frequent rehearsals, because our concerts are always with orchestra, with different, sometimes it's a pickup orchestra that is kind of our orchestra, with great musicians from all the area, from New York, people that work at the Metropolitan Opera, New York Philharmonic and such, and sometimes we work like we're going to do now with New Haven Symphony. So when getting closer to the concerts, we add some Saturday or Sunday rehearsals, and it gets a little more active.
So one of the students here at NCC is a part of the chorale.
Yes, indeed.
Is it true that you have to try out to sing with them?
Yes. To sing with our group, you have to make an audition. You know, nobody likes auditions, and I don't like taking them. But it's a way. It's more a way to filter somebody that is not good enough. So both our student from this here, James Bell, and his father auditioned to be part of the group. And so they both had to sing something briefly, something of their knowledge, and then the audition consists in a vocalise. So I'm next to the piano, and I ask him to repeat upside down, and I take it a little bit farther from their comfort zone, so to see what their limits are. And I take a lot of notes to kind of place them. And then I do a little bit of ear training kind of exercise to check how the ear is. If they have good reading, sight reading, then it's good. That's good enough. If not, I want to check out how fast they are to learn music. And a little bit of an interview, I ask them if they have experience or not. So it all sounds a lot, but it actually can happen in 5 or 6 minutes. So it's very efficient. And both James and his father did excellent auditions, and I'm very happy to have them in our bass section.
Sounds kind of rough getting into it.
You know, not really. And, you know, everybody can sing, anybody can sing. Our standards are high, and as a group, our mission is always to get better. So ideally, our auditions will get harder because our level will get higher. But anybody who has sung in a birthday party, in a Christmas party, in chorus at school, at church, in a synagogue, probably has a little bit of experience. And so many of the people that come to our chorus are people that in college they sang and they miss it because there's something very, very special about singing together this masterwork. So it's not so hard. You know, we want to be welcoming, and we are welcoming, and at the same time keeping a standard.
I can understand that. So, can you name the musicians who compose the symphonies that you guys have been singing over the years?
Yes, we perform mostly symphonic choral music. That's our main line of work. Now we're going to do Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, perhaps the most important or the most famous work of music ever written. The Ode to Joy, that is quite ubiquitous and famous and beautiful. And we have done Handel's Messiah. We did works by Rossini, by Poulenc, Honegger, which is a little more modern, Carmina Burana by Orff, Brahms' Requiem, which is the most beautiful thing. So, you know, that's kind of the line, the great Central European line from Bach to Brahms and beyond is kind of our core repertoire, and we do other things as well. More modern, we try to put some American music when we can, stuff like that.
Sounds pretty interesting.
It is fascinating indeed. Yes.
So what pieces of music are you guys currently working on?
So as I just said, for our next concert, which is on March 28 here in Norwalk, we are working on Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, which is something absolutely fantastic. And that's going to be paired with a piece by Schoenberg called A Survivor from Warsaw, which is a very short piece. And then our last concert of the year is going to be with Mozart's Requiem, another beautiful piece that you probably remember it from the movie Amadeus. And if you haven't seen it, go ahead and rent it today or take it on Netflix. It's there all the time. And we're going to pair a few shorter pieces with that, but that's going to be our main piece, the Mozart Requiem.
All right, so what's your favorite work of music to conduct?
I don't know. I love what I do. I have to kind of be enamored with what I'm currently working on every time, because if not, I cannot give my best self to it. To be absolutely honest, I think the one piece that I most wanted to conduct all my life was Beethoven Ninth, which is the one we're going to do now. I haven't conducted yet. It's going to be my first time. So hopefully, if we meet after the concert, I'm going to be able to say that was my favorite. But I love Beethoven symphonies and choral music, Mahler symphonies. I love Stravinsky. Stravinsky is not only great music, but kind of fun to conduct from a physical standpoint. I love opera. Opera has another challenge. I love Verdi, Puccini, you know, Bach. I love a lot of composers and music. It's hard to pin one.
Yeah. Well, I hope you good luck in your first time.
Thank you for that. Yep.
So, where does your music come from?
Wow, that's a long answer because basically I don't know. I think, you know, an easy way to say, let me think, I would say inspiration. And then again, what is inspiration? Again, I don't know. I always liked music since I was a very little kid. I liked music and I lived in music, and kind of the music lived in me in a way. I loved the Beatles, and my first instrument was the drums. And and I started playing piano. So I don't know, I like listening to music, and I like thinking about music. And when working with art music, with classical music, I like discovering kind of the white spaces around the black dots in the music, kind of like where is the soul and the spirit, kind of to make it alive. So I like very much exploring what is sometimes called music analysis, but not for an academic purpose. Although I love that academic purpose, but to find what's the secret to make choices in how to make that music become alive and expressive of its full potential and meaning.
So what advice would you give a young student that's studying for music?
Well, let me think. I can give you the cliche answer, which is practice, 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 practice. You know?
I want the real one.
Yes, you have to practice. You have to, you have to listen to different music, be open. At this moment, the world is changing so much that the paradigms of what a young musician needs to do are different already from 15 years ago, let alone 50 years ago. But you definitely need to practice and master your instrument. But at the same time, what I would recommend is persevere. It's almost as important as practice. There's a lot of competition, and orchestras and opera houses are a little bit in crisis. It's hard to compete in terms of entertainment with other media such as television, which I love, and movies, and on your cell phone you can have so much entertainment and with depth in many cases as well. So it's hard to remind the world what we do in classical music is important. So perseverance is very important, and definitely be open to outreach, and have to find a way to get to people, to bridge that maybe potential difference between the music and the other people.
Alright, so today we met a man who has enhanced the quality of music in Norwalk, and we look forward to more of his performances. I would like to thank David for joining us.
My pleasure.
We hope that this has been of great interest and that you will continue to observe our progress on Person to Person. Thank you for watching, and good day.
Thank you.